Well, you could sense the apprehension as he walked around the place, the looks askance as he walked past with scorn upon his face. His general demeanour would make his teammates squirm. His name was Bernie, and he was the shittest leader in this firm. He'd turn up late for meetings and not apologise, and when someone challenged this, well, he'd just sigh and roll his eyes. Some of us are busy, he responded to his crew, and important work can't wait, unlike the stuff you do. They called him Bernie. And he was the shittest leader in this firm. His team were either left alone or told that they were crap, and if anything went wrong, then he'd make sure they took the rap. He never praised their efforts, and he took credit for their wins, and the way he talked down to his staff was among his lesser sins. Not popular was Bernie, and he was the shittest leader in this firm. Now Bernie wanted a promotion. He thought that he was due, and his rival was a lady. It was just between those two. Now she was fair but firm, had common sense in large amounts. Her name was Suzy, and she worked down on the 3rd floor in accounts. But Bernie had an MBA, a bachelor's degree. His spreadsheets and expenses were the best you'll ever see. And he thought that he would get the job. He simply couldn't fail, because his psychometric profile, it was largely off the scale. But was that enough for Bernie? Because he was still the shittest leader in this firm. Now Suzy, on the other hand, she was a thoughtful leader. She'd make herself available should any teammate need her. She met up with her followers in many different ways. The one-to-ones, team meetings and quick chats throughout the days. But this was Suzy. And she was the newest leader in the firm. The big deciding factor would be the CEO. His name was Jim, and he had started 40 years ago. Back then, it was just him. Then 2 years later, Billy's son. Then 4 decades of working hard. Now Jim was feeling done. And he needed a successor. Son Billy wouldn't do. Well, the lad was never interested. He'd gone on to pastures new. So Jimmy looked for someone else to stop the firm going bust. But which of our 2 candidates could our Jim really trust? Now Bernie or young Suzy? He had to choose between, but he thought it was a good idea to go and ask the team. Well, they made a quick decision, with which Jim did concur, and he called them both to see him, and he gave the job to her. Now that shocked Bernie. Well, he was the shittest leader in the firm. Bernie was nearly 32, and he didn't realise that it was his lack of people skills that had cut him down to size. His career was now in tatters and his job was on the line. I cannot understand, he said. I thought the job was mine. But Suzy looked at him and said, if you think that you can learn, I'll make of you my number 2 and keep you in this firm. So Bernie learnt his lesson, his career no longer cursed. Now he's the type of leader who puts his people first. That was an important lesson for me. No more the shittest leader in the firm.